Eagle Ops, this is Dagger 4 at 86752. Eagle Ops, come in! This is Sergeant Walker separated from my element. Troops in contact, taking heavy fire, need backup now! Any station that's net, please respond. I'm all alone here. Can't hold on much longer.
Stone Vet. I hit the ground running when I'm in.
What's up, guys? Sergeant G here from the Stone Vet USMC, man. I'm super excited to be here with you guys, man. Like I said, we're coming at the end of the week like we do every week, right? When I'm able to bring some amazing guests. And the best part is when they're a veteran like us, guys. This is one of the biggest things I tell you guys about on a regular basis, right? How else are you going to be able to understand why we do what we do unless we've been walking in the same boots that you've been walking in, man? And I'll tell you what, my community has been walking in those same damn combat boots that you've been walking in for many, many years, man. And so that's one of the biggest things that I love about doing this show is being able to help come to you to break that stigma, right? You guys understand there's a lot of people who still are stuck on that stigma on that THC is bad for you, cannabis is bad for you, CBD is bad for you. And that's why I do this show on a weekly basis, twice a week right now, to tell you guys, hey, look, you have to replenish your endocannabinoid system. You have to. You have an endocannabinoid system and you have to learn how to replenish it. And like I tell you guys every week, if you don't know anything about the endocannabinoid system, go to nih.gov. Yes, I said .gov. It's a government website. It's a government website that tells you about the endocannabinoid system and why it's so important to ensure that it remains healthy and why your health relies on your endocannabinoid system. And the only way to replenish your endocannabinoid system is with cannabinoids found in cannabidiol, CBD, THC, marijuana, cannabis. It's the only way you're going to replenish your endocannabinoid system, man. I want to give a huge shout out to my sponsor, Raffle 180. Raffle 180 provides you the best medicinal grade CBD on the market, hands down. It's like I told you guys before, the gummies are coming out. Keep an eye out on the website. Everybody loves gummies, and these gummies are 100% THC free. So if you're like me, and when you're watching the show, right, I'm in my 30s now. I got 30 some odd days left, and I'll be able to consume cannabis once again. And if you're like me, and you work for the federal government, or you have a position where you cannot consume cannabis because your job says it's still federally illegal, you can't use it, right? Go check out raffle180.com. Like I tell you guys, they provide you 100% THC free. I take drug tests twice a month. Every 2 weeks is when I'm taking a drug test because of probation. And I have still yet to pop. They have not called me in to say, hey, you popped on this piss test or whatever. And I take these products on a daily basis. Why? Because I'm replenishing my endocannabinoid system the way I need to. So go check out their amazing products. If you suffer from getting sleep like I do, and a majority of us veterans do, we suck at getting sleep. I have it in the hyperlink in the description box down below. It's the sapphire oil. You can't take the sapphire oil. They also got a pill, so it's easier on the stomach. It's a CBN product, which helps calm your mind. It's not a sleep aid. It helps calm your mind so you're able to get the rest that you need, so you're not thinking about the 3,700 other things you have to do the next day. So go check out raffle180.com. That's Romeo Alpha Papa Hotel Alpha 180.com to get all your medicinal grade CBD needs. Check out the Stone Vet USMC and you get 15% off your entire purchase. Spend $85 or more, you get free priority shipping to your front door. Dude, that's like Amazon, man. You can't beat that. That's like 2-day shipping around the country. You can't beat it. So I'm super excited today, man. You guys have seen it. If you guys are watching on my YouTube channel, which I hope you are, and I hope you're hitting that like, subscribe, and share button so this content can get out there, right? You guys can see the beautiful stuff on to my right, to your left, however you're watching this, right? Right? You see the beautiful logo, the beautiful shiny logo. Right below that, right? The 2021 Top Marine Corps Podcast winner. And right below that, top podcast for Chronic Palooza, right? And you can see the beautiful awards the beautiful gold hammer and the beautiful crystal award from Chronic Palooza, right? That's for this year and last year. I'm up for 2 more awards. I'm waiting to hear back, hopefully here before too long. The Veteran Podcast Awards will tell me yay or nay if I won any awards during this last meeting that we just had. So we'll see. And like I tell you guys, this ain't my podcast. This is your podcast. I'm bringing you educational pieces to help educate you. If you're anything like me, I hate reading. I'll read it. I just hate reading though, because it's just sometimes it's just too boring. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't understand this. Right. But if I'm able to bring people on to help educate you guys, like last week, I had Dr. Williams on, a doctor, an MD, a family practitioner, telling you how cannabis is important. Right. These are people who are educated in this stuff. I'm going to do it any way I can, bringing on people who are as passionate as myself in regards to this amazing plant, right? Freedom for cannabis, right? You guys have fought in war for 20 years, fighting Iraq and Afghanistan. You're back on the home turf, right? Now you still have another war you have to fight, and you're fighting for medical freedom. And that's what we're supposed to be doing, is fighting for our own medical freedom, man. I'm super excited today to be able to bring on another veteran and another Navy vet, right? Department of the Navy, right? That's what they said at the Marine Corps, right? Marine Corps is Department of the Navy, the Marine Corps, right? We say we're the men's department of the Navy. What's going on, Shay? How you doing today?
I'm good, Vaughn. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited to be here and talk with you today about our favorite topic.
Absolutely. No, and this is one of the biggest things that I try to tell my community about, right? We're a bunch of veterans. We're a bunch of knuckleheads, no matter what branch you're in or whatever. We all hard-headed, we're stubborn, and we don't learn unless somebody's telling us about it, right? Somebody tells us about it, and they move us through it and show us, hey, look, this is how you do it. This is what you do. This is what you need to do. This is how you need to do it. And they're showing you how to do it, right? Because we're visual learners, right? But I tell people whenever they're listening to the show, I say, just turn it on in the background. You don't even have to really listen to it, but just have it on in the background so it's playing. So maybe something might intrigue you and be like, oh, hold on, rewind that. I got to listen to that again, right? Because I do that a lot, you know?
Yeah.
And so for yourself, I mean, you spent some time in the Navy. How long were you in the Navy for?
So I was in for about 8 years, back in the early 90s. So I was considered a Gulf War vet, although I did not actually go overseas.
Okay.
I was in during that time period. And so what that means, essentially, I say it that way because, and even after Gulf War time period, but before Gulf, during Gulf, and a little bit after, and some even still, from what I understand, I don't know if to this day, but even up to like Afghanistan and that kind of thing, the vaccinations that we received when we went into the military at that time were ridiculous. Like, I mean, vaccinations are, they carry a lot of extra stuff with them, carrier stuff, so they call it, but it's dangerous to our health, like mercury, thimerosal is mercury. And copious amounts of it, and aluminum, which goes straight to the brain. And it destroys the pineal gland. It calcifies the pineal gland, which actually controls hundreds of biological processes. And it's part of the endocrine system, which is what the cannabinoids help to regulate. So it all goes hand in hand. But yeah, so I was in during that time, and I was an aviation storekeeper. I think they may have combined that whole classification now. It used to be storekeepers ship side and storekeepers aviation side, but they kind of combined it now, which is interesting because I did do a lot of both. I started in Miramar when it was NAS Miramar and Top Gun until the Marines came in and took over.
Right.
And kicked us out of there. and then I went to down to North Island, NAS North Island, for base supply, and so I worked a lot on 32nd Street and base supply on the airplanes on that side. So I really had a great tour. I had a great service. I learned a ton. I went out to some ships, spent some time on the Nimitz and the Shitty Kitty, as we called it, when it was up and running out of Alameda. Yeah. Right. So I spent a majority of my time in California, Southern California, and out on the, on the Pacific Ocean doing, drills and that kind of thing. So it was an interesting time when Clinton was in office.
Oh no, absolutely, absolutely. And how you were talking about the vaccinations and stuff like that. Like not too long ago, about probably a month or so ago, I had Sarah Boyd on my show with Operation Truth, and she started a nonprofit in regards to, because she's messed up. Like the vaccines tore her body up, and like she's going to suffer from it for years, right?
It
And that's what I
did
tell
for me
people.
as well.
Yeah, and it screwed her up, right? It screwed her up, and she'd been fighting the VA, and they finally said, yeah, it had to do with the vaccinations. Well, yeah, I know. I've been telling you this for 10, 15 years now, and you guys are just now believing me, right? And it's like you said, that the vaccinations that we get, we don't even know what we're getting. Like
we have no idea.
We have no idea what we're getting, right?
But you can find out. There's a Mike Adams, who's the health ranger. He did, and this is how actually I didn't even know Gulf War illness or Gulf War syndrome was an actual thing that other vets experienced until I actually heard it 20 years after I had quote unquote cured myself from it, because I spent 5 years or more of misery from those vaccinations, like all kinds of crazy health issues. I was 28 years old and my body was falling apart. I felt like I was 50, which I am this year. But
I mean, with the things like that, though, I mean, when we're in service, right? Like I said, I joined when I was 17. So I tell people the Marine Corps is my mama and my daddy. Right? I was a kid when I joined. I wasn't even fully developed yet, but I was in the Marine Corps serving our country. And that's one of the things people tell me. They say, well, when the whole COVID vaccine came out, they said, well, you were in service, just get the vaccination. I said, no, if I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't even got the vaccines that I got when I was in. Like if I knew if I know then what I know now, right? Yeah. And a lot of people don't understand that. Like, well, you should just get it. Well, why shouldn't you just not get it? Like, why do you believe that I should get it? Why don't you just not get it? Oh, well, no. Well, I can tell you scientific evidence showing this, right?
Well, why would you know what you're putting in your body? I mean, when you eat food, you kind of have an idea of what you're putting in your body.
Yeah.
Some stuff, not so much, but you can read the back of the label. You can't pronounce half of the shit most of the time. So you might not know what it is, but you know it's on there and you're putting it in your body. How it affects your body, well, that's a whole entire different story.
Exactly.
But you know,
exactly.
They don't tell us.
And you're right. I mean, we're poisoning ourselves throughout the day. Every day we're everything we eat, everything we ingest daily. We're poisoning ourselves with sodas and foods and everything, right? Because sometimes we're like, well, this looks good and it smells good, so I'm gonna eat it. But what was actually in it? You know what I'm saying? What was actually in it, right? The candy. Exactly. I'm a candy fanatic. I love candy. But you flip that thing out, I was like, what the hell is in this? Like, I don't even know what this is, but it tastes good,
But of course.
It tastes good. All the sweeteners and artificial crap that they put in it, it's one of the things. And it's like I tell people who drink diet sodas, and I'm like, just drink the regular soda, dude. Just drink I said that saccharin, aspartame, and all that fake sweetener that's in it is going to kill you faster than the actual soda would. If you just drink regular soda. Yes.
Yep. Yeah. For sure.
But I think that's one of the biggest struggles we have, right? Is that a majority of our community is just not educated.
Right. That's true. It is all about educating yourself. And, a lot of times, they don't know what they don't know. And then sometimes they don't really want to know what they should know. You know what I mean? So like some of these energy drinks, that people are taking out. I mean, people literally have died from these drinks. And because
I had a guy in Hawaii, young guy, he was like 24 years old, died from a heart attack. Died from a heart attack. And I said, what did he die from? Oh, energy drinks. He drank 5 a day. You know what I'm saying? 5 a day for years.
More than 4. Yeah. Oh man, I'm telling you. So that caffeine, it takes a toll on your insulin.
It does.
Your insulin, it spikes it super hard, and then when it's everything is really about. They talk about blood sugar, insulin, and that kind of stuff, and that's also something that cannabis helps to regulate, because it regulates your endocrine system, which is, you go, oh, that's hormones, right? Well, hormones. What is insulin? It's a hormone. What is testosterone? It's a hormone. Estrogen. All of those things are hormones. So it regulates those things in your body. And the name of the game for, as far as, losing weight or gaining weight or anything like that, it's about how you control that insulin and the spike of that insulin and the sugars that are in your blood system. So, cannabis is huge for that. It's huge for that. So,
Yeah, no,
you're
absolutely.
preaching to the choir with me.
No, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was listening to somebody not too long ago, and her father had passed away. Young guy. I think he was like in his 50s. She's like,
Wow.
he was very athletic, was doing, triathlons, and he was super athletic and everything. And he had gone to the hospital and died of a heart attack. And they said, well, why did he die of a heart attack? They said his blood was so thick. It was and the heart couldn't pump it. They said, does he drink energy drinks? And she was like, yeah, every time we go on road trips, every time we go anywhere, he's got a Red Bull in his hand. Like, it's always there. And I was like, well, there you go. They're telling you, stop drinking your freaking energy drinks like that. Because like us being in the military, like me, I can guarantee that's one of the reasons I gained so much weight was that I would consume one of those big twist top monsters a day, every day. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
because I was tired, I was exhausted, I was just like, I need
Exhausted.
energy, right?
Yep.
And then, I was like, dang, I could tell I was putting on a lot of weight just drinking those energy drinks because they're so full of caffeine and sugar and everything else, right? And then we already eating like crap, you're just trying to grab something to eat while
As
you're
fast
moving,
as
right?
you can. Yep.
Right.
And if you're stressed out or because you only got 15 minutes to eat, guess
Yep.
what? That cortisol is already you're in that fight or flight mode, which is
Right.
gonna cut off the ability to digest your food properly anyway. So everything that you're consuming is going straight to fat anyways. And I don't care if
Right.
it's liquid or solid, it's all going to fat.
Right. Right.
So yeah, no wonder it's people gaining weight left and right, but it comes on so easy, and the liquid form is the most stealthiest.
Right.
You eat a cinnamon roll a day, like okay,
Yeah.
not surprising. So back in my day, it wasn't the energy drinks; it was coffee all day, Pepsi in between, and cinnamon roll for breakfast and Mexican food at night.
Right.
When you got a chance in Southern California, right?
Yeah, right.
But really good Mexican food too.
That's a whole different style of Mexican food out in California. That's a whole different type, That's what I tell people here in Oklahoma. We got Tex-Mex. It's Tex-Mex is what it is. It's not the California Mexican food. It's a completely different Mexican food. You know?
Well, I lived in Texas for a little bit too, so I've had some, what they call it, California Mexican. I've had Tex-Mex, Florida. They all makes it, a little bit different, with different styles, but it's all good.
It's all good food. It's all good. Everybody knows. Everybody listening, you guys know. You guys are always like, oh, damn, I want some Mexican food now. I'm going to go get some Mexican food.
I mean, in Tampa, man, we got Cuban Mexican for Pete's sake.
Right. Right. Yeah.
The Cubano spin on the Mexican food.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Right. So with you now, how was you? So when you got out, you got out what in like
1998.
98, right? 98 is what I was thinking. 98 is when you got out, right? And I hate when you guys say, well, I didn't deploy, but I was like, dude, you're blessed you didn't deploy, honestly. You're blessed you didn't deploy.
Sure.
That's a blessing that you didn't get to deploy, but don't say that you're not a veteran or you're not whatever. I don't like hearing that stuff. So you're still a veteran. You still serve our country. You still raised your hand and said, I will defend this country,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
How was your transition when it was time for you to get out of service? How was that transition for you?
So about a year before I got out, actually, so I went to did some community college while I was in, just because I was determined that I wanted to get at least an associate's before I got out, and I came really close, but then it came down to like the last 6 months. I had one class to take, and the timing wasn't good. Like I had to do it like 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the morning. And the job that I had for base supply, I really, really enjoyed my job in document control unit. I actually got awards, awards for it, and that kind of thing. So I didn't want to give up my job, and it was going to be either, get that last bit of credit or give up your job, which you can do if you want. And I was like, no. I didn't want to go back to like a squadron job or anything like that. I was very independent in my job, and I went and decommissioned ships and talked to people all over the world on their retrograde parts, and the Boeing and Grumman and all different kinds of people. So it was a really interesting position, and I enjoyed it a lot, and I wasn't willing to give it up. So and it worked out well for me, and it was okay. And I was actually turned out really glad that I did. So then the last 6 months, I was working I was working in the military during the day, and then I went to work in the evening across the street at the Mexican restaurant serving drinks to kind of just
that was a really good Mexican restaurant.
Yep. So, just to kind of like get back into a workflow sort of thing. And
Right.
I wasn't really sure how I was going to take what I was doing in the military. They always want you to go and do some government service. Hey, stay here in California. We can get you in doing this. And I was like, yeah, I'm from the East Coast, so I didn't know that I wanted to stay there and do that. So I was like, yeah, think about it, whatever. And then ended up getting out and going back east. And then was doing some, I did, weekend warrior stuff for a while and that kind of thing until I moved to Texas. But while I was out there, that was in Virginia Beach and Norfolk. And that's when I was feeling really bad from the Gulf War illness. And I finally went to the VA and I, told them how I was feeling, everything from insomnia to IBS and restless leg, weird neurological tics and twitches and really exhausted like all the time. And my blood sugar was all over the place. It was a mess. And granted, coming from that, I didn't have the greatest diet,
Right.
So it was kind of because of the way that our environment is in the military, that you might grab something when you can, depending on what you're doing at any given time. So it was not too bad, other than the health challenges. That was really probably the biggest issue for me. Because I was a storekeeper, obviously I was able to translate my experience into some civilian jobs, which, a lot of people in other, in Army jobs, in other MOSs and positions, they're not able to do that quite so easily. But it wasn't necessarily something that I wanted to stay in doing either. You know what I mean? Like I got what I got out of the military, which was kind of like, I don't know what's the word, like, wow, like you've done this supply thing for the military. You go back and work for, an alarm company. You're like, wow, this is boring. I think a lot of people in the military definitely feel that, because in the military, you're always on a, can be called at any time. Where might you go? What might you do? And so it's part of that we kind of thrive on that in a little bit. And so when we get out, I read an article on, why veterans miss the military, why they miss war and that kind of thing, because it's almost like an adrenaline kind of rush a little bit. Definitely is your adrenals, that's your endocannabinoid system, your that kind of thing. So so you go to humdrum kind of civilian life and go, okay, is this it? Was that all? That was like your glory, your glory days, so they say. And now, so I had my glory days, and now, man, my body is tired, and I'm only not even hardly 30 years old yet. What am I gonna do, right? How am I gonna get to 70? And I'm not sure. So it was in Norfolk, and I went to the VA, and I expressed to them how I was feeling, and they said, oh, okay, well, let's get all those tests done. And they took every test under the sun and called me back like whatever, a week later, 2 weeks later, and said, well, we have some good news. All your blood tests came out great, came out perfect, nothing wrong with you.
Don't you love that? You're like, what do you mean nothing's wrong with me? Why do I feel like crap?
Right. Well, then they said it's an emotional condition, and so we can give you some Prozac and you'll feel all better. Yeah. I was like, no, I don't want any Prozac.
I'm good. I don't
I'm
need
all
no
set with that. Yeah. Let me just go back to
I'm
my
good.
garage and roll something at that point.
Right. Let me just roll a fucking joint, dude. It's like, seriously, I don't need no Prozac.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
And
so
that's how a lot of our
that's fine.
community is. That's what a lot of our community suffers, right? Because everybody knows that 22 veterans take their life every day. And I'm actually part of the Veteran Action Council. They just actually came out and said, hey, they're going to be redoing the study, and they actually think the numbers are more than just 22. And I was like, well, honestly,
Wow.
what states are they doing the study on?
Mm-hmm.
And how are they looking at the study? Because here in Oklahoma, we're averaging 27 veterans a day in Oklahoma is what we're
Wow.
averaging, right?
Wow.
So, and everybody understands that, but nobody ever talks about the veterans that die from opioid addiction.
Right. Which is huge.
It's huge, right? Like you said, the doctor was like,
Huge.
hey, let's give you some Prozac. And you're like, nah, I don't want to take no Prozac, right? But it's not hard for us to go to the VA and say, hey, my back hurts. I need some Flexeril, or I need something for my back. You know,
Right.
I need some I need some Zoloft. I need some Ambien. I need some freaking muscle relaxers. I need this. I need that. You know, I need freaking depression stuff, anxiety stuff. I need this and that. And you could talk to veterans. They'll be like, yeah, I take 10 pills a day. I take 30 pills a day. I take 40 pills a day. And you're like,
Right.
why? You know, like, why? You know? My father-in-law came over a couple months ago, and he opened his hand. He had like 6 pills in there, and I was like, "What are those for?" And he's like, "Well, this is for this. This is for this. This is for this." I said, "If you smoked a blunt, you can get rid of 4 of those pills. If
Yeah,
you
there
smoked
you
a blunt, you can get rid of 4 of the 6 pills you take every day." He's like, "Really?"
Yeah.
I said, "I swear to you. I swear to you.
Sure.
You smoke a blunt and you incorporate CBD into your daily routine, I can get you off 4 of those 6 pills right now."
Yeah.
Like, seriously, dude. Like, and a lot of people don't understand that, right? Because they still scared. They scared of the stigma. They're scared of this. They're scared of that. And it's like,
Right.
let me help educate you. Let me help show you why plant-based medicine works. Plant-based
Right.
medicine has been around for thousands of years.
Yes,
How
exactly.
do you think? You know, how do
Yeah.
you think people did it? How do you
Yeah,
think
exactly.
Mexicans who
Before-
built the pyramids or Egyptians who built the pyramids, they didn't go to the pharmacy and say, "Hey, doc, my back hurts. Can I get a muscle relaxer for my back?"
Right.
No.
Allopathic medicine is only about 100 years old, and it was put together by Carnegie and some other folks that put the whole medical system together. And so, yeah, exactly. What did they do 100 years ago? So I'm glad that you said that, because actually what ended up happening was, after the VA, told me that, I was like, never mind, I'll figure it out myself. So my best friend, and who's still my best friend and my business partner today, we
Mhm.
took a road trip out to Texas, and we were going to take a job out there. And so we took a job with a company at the time, was called Ayurvedic Concepts. Nobody knew what that was in 1998.
Right.
But
and especially in 98, it wasn't
Ayurveda.
even
Yeah.
in 98 though, there wasn't even
They-
a big thing in regards to cannabis, right? It wasn't
people-
even like
no.
not
Nobody
like it
knew
is
who
today.
Deepak Chopra was then, and
Right.
who promotes Ayurvedic medicine. So Ayurveda is a 3,000-year-old medical system that the Indians use, that's based on plants. And so they're now called Himalaya Drug USA, and they grow very pristine organic plants on in the Himalaya mountains, and they formulate them. And so we took a job with that company. We got an informal education in Ayurvedic medicine. And speaking of taking a lot of pills, I started taking like 15 pills a day just to see what their products would do for my conditions. And so within about, I would say somewhere between 45 and 90 days, it probably even before that, but I'm just saying, like, all the symptoms. So I started experiencing results, I would say, right away within the first week to 2 weeks.
Wow.
But then within, I would say, 45 to 90 days, about 95% of my symptoms from Gulf War, syndrome, Gulf War illness were gone and have never returned.
That's awesome though. So, and that's the thing, right? You would have never known if you weren't even informed, if you weren't educated on, hey, let me show you about this. Let me talk to you about this. Let me see if you know anything about this, right? I mean, you took a chance and you like, well, I ain't got nothing else to lose,
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And, at the same time, we were smoking some good stuff that they had in, homegrown in Texas. And I'm sure that unknowingly, sort of, because we knew about the endocannabinoid system in 1992 or ish is when they brought it out around the early 90s as they, started educating people about it. Yeah, this is a system within your body. Your body makes endocannabinoids. Women carry it in their breast milk in minute amounts, but considering the amount of stress that our bodies are undergoing every single day, it probably gets used up as fast as we can make it. And so, the need to supplement it, especially in these days, is huge because it literally controls every single system in your system.
And a lot of people don't understand that, right? A lot of people don't know about the endocannabinoid system and how it works. I was like, during World War II, do you understand that you were replenishing your endocannabinoid system with the steak, with the meat that you were buying from the grocery stores? Why? Because during World War II, hemp was rampant, right? The government had everybody growing hemp. So farmers were feeding it to the cows and the chickens and the pigs. They were all eating hemp, right? So when you went to the grocery store, you were getting quality products, right? You're getting quality meats that were, which is called organic today. You know what I'm saying? Which is called organic today. But that's one of the things is that you were replenishing your endocannabinoid system during World War II, like that. They were feeding that to their animals because it was required by the government that everybody grow hemp to help support the war.
Well, it's also a great protein source as well. Because it has a lot of the essential, amino acid proteins that you need to build a complete. It's about 40% to build a complete cell.
Yeah. And so it's amazing, right? And a lot of people, that's one of the things, that's the whole reason I do the show, right? Is to help educate our community to have a better understanding about plant-based medicine and how it helps and how it treats different ailments. Like you suffer from Gulf War syndrome. You're like, I'm going to get with this company. I'm going to see what they can do. What can they provide me that isn't a pharmaceutical, that isn't over the counter? And in 98, it was still taboo. Like it was seriously taboo, right? It was still, because when I had Dr. Williams on the show, she was talking about cannabis 15 years ago. And I was like, it was still kind of like, oh, cannabis, it was legal, in California and freaking like Oregon, but I was like, even 15 years ago compared to today, where there's 38 states that have legalized cannabis, regardless if it's medicinal or adult use, right? 38 states. And now it's not as taboo anymore. Oh, you use medicine, you use cannabis? Yeah, I smoke cannabis on a daily basis. Oh, that's pretty cool. How's that working for you? How's that helping you? Right. And a lot of people, like, there's still states out there that have not legalized cannabis. And I'm like, why? Like, what are you waiting on? Like, have you talked to your representatives and say, what do I need to do to get this on a ballot? You know what I'm saying? What do I need to do to get cannabis on a ballot? Because I'm like, if you're a veteran, dude, you're still fighting this war for medical freedom. You don't want to continue taking what the VA gives you on a daily basis. You don't want it. It's killing you internally.
It is killing you. It is killing you, people. Everything that you're taking. So they have to come up so pharmaceuticals, number one, people don't know that pharmaceuticals are technically sorcery. It's like witchcraft. It's alchemy. Yes. It really is.
Yes,
if you look up the word, pharmakia, it is witchcraft. So people understand that. Trying to keep that sun is like kind of right.
Oh yeah.
So number one, you can take the implications of that, which we can talk about, like the just the word in and of itself, and something that you're taking that's associated with that. Everything carries energy. And so it's the energy of intent. It's the energy of even that simple word. So like there's a guy, Dr. Emoto, he studied water for that was what he did. He was a Japanese scientist, and he studied water forever. And you can look it up on the internet. It's all over the internet. He did a simple little study. He put water in a jar. One said love and one said hate. And the one that said hate, molded and got nasty. And the water literally died within itself. But the one that said love was beautiful. It was shining. It was sparkling, in the sunlight, and it was beautiful. And so water has a consciousness in that sense.
Right.
And love expands. And so what are we made of?
Love,
like
right?
80,
Yeah.
well, yes,
Water,
love,
yeah,
that's
water, water, yeah.
but
But yeah,
water, we're
water.
like 80% water, or should
Right,
be.
right. Or
Right.
should be, right?
Not
Not alcohol, you guys that
not
are listening.
energy
And not
drinks.
alcohol. Not energy drinks
Right,
and not
right.
alcohol. Water.
It doesn't count in coffee, it doesn't count in tea.
Right.
Water is water
Right.
is water.
Water,
It's
water,
the
right?
only thing that counts. Right.
Right.
So but yeah, so that's it is what it is, and there's more and more people that are kind of waking up to that fact of the energy. So understanding, you're taking these pills that are supposed to take care of the symptoms of the quote unquote disease, but there's always a root to that disease, and typically it actually starts in emotions. It can start in
Right.
emotions. It can start in the subconscious mind, something that you learned subconsciously from the age of -6 in the womb to age 7, because that's you're basically operating. It's your operating system, and you need to upgrade your operating system and change your mind and open your mind to other thoughts and thinking about yourself, about your situation. So just like you can think yourself sick, you can think yourself well as well. And there's a lot of, you listen to Dr. Dispenza, Joe Dispenza, and you listen to Greg Graydon and Bruce Lipton. You listen to all those guys, they'll tell you your mind is so super powerful. And one of my sayings in my business is, your wellness is 100% mental, because your body won't
Right.
go where your mind doesn't take it, right? And
Right.
so
Right.
it
Right.
starts up here. You've got to have a strong mind. So
Mhm.
don't ever talk the negative about yourself. Always talk the positive about how you feel. And I don't care what the physical symptoms appear to be. It doesn't matter. It's all just it's all a false manifestation. You are always well. So always talk in the positive, not in the negative. Even
Right.
if you quote unquote feel like crap, don't
Right. No,
say
absolutely.
it.
No, and you're
You
right.
know,
You're absolutely right about that, about speaking positive, right? Because us as veterans, a lot of us have struggles with speaking positivity, right? And that's one of the
right.
things
Yeah,
I
for
tell
sure.
people about. What's one of the things I tell my community about is, like, in the Marine Corps, they sever that emotional tie, right? Because they tell you, if you become emotionally connected, you die, right? And
Right.
so, and that lives with you, and right. But whenever it's time to get out of service, nobody teaches you how to rebuild that. Nobody can
That's right.
help you rebuild that, right? So we suck at having spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends,
Right.
kids. We suck at having relationships with our kids and our friends, right? We don't know
Yeah.
how to emotionally connect with our friends, right? Our support
Hmm.
system. And that's one
Yeah.
thing that we have to learn how to do again, right? And it starts with you. Like you said, it starts with starting a positive mindset is what it starts
Yes.
with.
Hmm.
And we have to have a positive mindset in life in general, right? Because life's hard. We all struggle every day, making sure the bills are
Yeah.
getting paid, making sure their family gets to eat, making sure that we're happy, our mental health is good, right? Because if our
Right.
mental health ain't good, everything's going to go down the crapper, and it's just going to
That's
suck.
right.
You know what I'm
That's right.
saying?
Yes.
And that's
That's
one of the
what you.
things, right?
Yeah. You absolutely. It starts in your mind, and um, so when your body, is not really feeling that, right? It's your mind that has to overcome it, and that's it's a difficult thing to do when your knees hurt, your back hurts, your hands hurt, and every part of your body hurts, and it's a struggle to, you know. But when you're happy, there's things, that those hormones that we talked about. So
Mm-hmm.
there's others like serotonin, right? And melatonin, and all of those feel good hormones that also are affected with the cannabinoid system in cannabis. So it has an effect on balancing those hormones as well. So we talk about cannabis for like depression, right?
Right.
And for PTSD is huge. PTSD
Mm-hmm.
is it's trapped emotions basically, but
Right.
we don't
Yeah.
really know how to process those things out. And somehow, the cannabis does that. It does it for us naturally. It's helped me tremendously. with PTSD, for, the military PTSD, which kind of just comes along with military service, because part of that, son here, part of that, what you were just talking about, the boot camp experience.
Mm-hmm.
Boot camp experience basically takes you back to that subconscious, it puts you in that subconscious where they take you away from everything and everyone that you know, and they put you in that situation to retrain you, right, to do things in their way, and start you out kind of like a fresh program, so to speak, right? But
Right.
you also said when we leave, we don't really think about whether we were in, 4 years, 8 years, 10 years, 20 years. We don't think about, we need to retrain our brain from that and everything that's happened to us that's, either traumatic or stressful or, any of those things. So the cannabinoid, the cannabis really helps to help balance all of those hormones out. I don't know how it does it, obviously.
Right. Right. We don't know.
Cannabis.
We don't know, but it all makes place. It all plays in the terpene profiles, right? And that's one thing I tell you guys on a regular basis, right? That's one of the biggest things I stress about is that if you're going to start consuming cannabis, to journal it. Journal what you're doing, right? What are you smoking? What terpenes did it have in it? How did it make you feel, right? Because when next time you go back to a dispensary, you'll be able to say, hey, I need something that's high in pinene and carafilene and what in linalool and myrcene or whatever, right? And you guys that have been watching my Wednesday episodes, you guys already know, right, which strains are high in most of these terpenes, right? And figure out how it makes you feel, because it's about the terpenes that make you feel good or make you feel bad. And you've got to understand, it's like she said, in the endocannabinoid system, we're studying it every day on a regular basis. We don't know why it does this, but if we incorporate this terpene, this is what it does to the endocannabinoid system. This is how it makes them feel, right? It's all studies that are starting to be done now. And once the government decides to take it off the Schedule 1 drug, there are going to be tons of studies coming from the U.S., right? Because there's already been tons of them done out of Israel, but now there'll be more out of the U.S. showing people, look, this is what this does. These are what these terpenes we have shown for this. This is what these terpenes have shown for that, and yourself now
that up.
No, because now yourself, you are in the plant medicine side of the house now, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's something that really needs to be brought to people's attention. I know that you represent a good product, and there's a lot of products out there on the market. And so people need to be aware of some of the products out there. And I can tell you, one of the number one white labeled products out there for CBD, number one white label, which means anybody can slap their label on it. Their CBD is watered down to 2% of CBD. And you don't even know what that is, because even when it's watered down to 2%, you don't understand the extraction process. When they're doing this, they extract it with solvents, they extract it with all kinds of,
it's just garbage, right? There's so many different, it's like you said, there's so many different, and it's so hard for our community, right? It's so hard for you guys that are listening, and you're like, where do I even begin? Why do I do this? Why do I, how do I get started? How do I know how many milligrams of this I need? And this is why I'm so glad I've teamed up with Rafa 180. Like I said, for Rafa 180, they've actually allowed me the opportunity to actually go to the lab and say, watch this. And I watch it go from plant to oil. This is what step we're on. This is what we're doing.
That's
step
awesome.
by
That's
step
awesome
by
that
step by step.
Transparent.
They're transparent. They're like, here, just sign the NDA, because I can't let you give my information out. But
right.
we are transparent, so you can come in and see that the quality product that we're providing to your community is quality. It's not watered down. It's not 2% CBD. This is high quality medicinal grade CBD. Their CBD is sitting in the hospital shelves today in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
In the
that's not
pharmacies and the hospitals, the CBD is sitting on the shelf. That's got to tell you something, right? They're not
Right.
just going to put crap on the shelf. You know, there's, like you said, there are plenty of CBD companies that are white labels that'll let you put whatever logo you want on it, and they say, yeah, this is quality stuff.
right.
But
Yeah. But it
and
comes
what's great
from
about
a
them,
lot of the same manufacturers.
yes,
by
it
the way.
does. It
All the
does,
same
hands down.
manufacturers. Yep.
It
do.
does, you know,
So,
and this is why I'm so glad I teamed up with them, because they're like, no, dude, this is medicinal grade, high quality CBD, you know, and like I said, they will hold your hand. Like if you have any questions, like I said, it's hard. Where do I start? 200 milligrams, 250 milligrams, 500 milligrams, 1500, 2500, 3000, 6000, 10,000 milligrams. You're like, I don't know where to start, you know, and this is what I love about Rafa 180 is that you email them, you call them, they will hold your hand and say, I want to sit down and talk to you and find out what's wrong with you. What is wrong with you? This is what I recommend.
We would like to give a huge thanks to Rafa 180. Rafa 180 offers pure medicinal CBD and products made locally. They walk alongside individuals to achieve a healthy lifestyle with options needed by each person. You can learn more about them on Facebook at Rafa CBD, their website www.rafa180.com, or email at rafacbd@gmail.com. They truly believe your journey matters.
Recommend we start and see where it goes from there, right? Like anything else, we got to see how it balances out in your body, because everybody's chemical makeup is different.
It's different. And that's another important factor. So when you're looking at the milligrammage, right, people need to understand that just because it says 1500 milligrams on it, 1300 milligrams,
right,
it's not per serving, it's per container. And if
bottle,
that's only going to last you 30 days, then you're only probably getting around 50 milligrams, 50 milligrams of CBD, which is not enough to saturate your body when you have trillions and trillions of cells. So understand, number one, if it's an isolate, it's not helping you. Number two, if it's extracted with solvents or anything like that, all of that stuff. So CBD, when you put CBD with something else, it greatly enhances its effectiveness, right? So like we put CBD with blackseed, and it's the most amazing product because it really, blackseed like cures everything but death. Okay. So when you put CBD with blackseed, it's really great for, mostly I say people that have been exposed to like fungus. Like we have a lot of mold in Florida because of the rain. And so and mildew, mold, and anybody that has those kind of exposures, it gets into your body. It's very difficult to get out, but you will not lose weight. You will have thyroid problems because it likes to set up in the thyroid. You can have other problems with, the cortisol levels and, testosterone levels and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different things, and it boosts up the estrogens, of course. And so a lot of different issues that you can, not the good estrogens, by the way, the bad ones, the ones that cause the cancers. Right. So, you really want to have, talk to people that you can trust. We're veterans and we've tested this stuff. I've worked with my veterans from all, different services for the past year. Our product, we talked about, we mostly sell ours commercially. We sell it to the pet industry on a wholesale basis, because actually animals, they do have a cannabinoid system, but they don't do as well at even with the minute amounts of THC, because if they get too much THC, it could kill a dog. Right. So because our product, as I mentioned to you earlier, the THC has been bred out of the plant. So technically it's a full spectrum product, because we use the whole product. There's just no THC in the plant itself. And so that's why, we go after the equine industry. We go after the dogs and the cats. And my cat takes 200 milligrams a day.
Wow.
And she's not comatose, but she's not, and I have a Bengal. And if y'all know what Bengals are like, they're insane. But she's like a normal cat when she gets her CBD. She's not like climbing off the ceilings, and she's just chilling, and she doesn't even, it doesn't even make you sleep. And literally a baby could drink a whole bottle of our product and they wouldn't even have the squirts.
No, and that's one of the things, guys. That's one of the things you understanding, right? Because I tell you guys, like a lot of our veterans I talk to, they're like, "Oh, I take so much melatonin." I said, "You have got to stop taking melatonin."
Ooh, yeah, that's not good.
I said, "You have got to stop taking melatonin." I said, "Do you understand that if you take so much melatonin, your body stops producing natural melatonin?"
That's right.
This is why I say you guys have got to get into natural products. That's why I love the Sapphire. I take the Sapphire probably 3 times a week, man, because my mind just keeps going, right? And like I said, it's got CBN in it. And if anybody knows about CBN helps relax the mind, helps calm the mind down, so you're not thinking about everything that's going on, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the, and it's not like a Zoloft or an Ambien. You take those and you're like, God, I need like 20 hours of sleep just to recover from the one pill that I took, and it sucks.
Right.
Like the whole next day's gone. And it sucks. And this is one of the things, guys, is understanding these plant-based medicines, right? And Shannon's this is what you're doing now, right? You're focused on the in the pet industry in regards to CBD, right?
I do, and I also have as I said, veterans that I work with, mostly that have serious like conditions like Gulf War syndrome, obviously, because that's what I had, and it's something that really helped me with all of my symptoms, along with other stuff, which is just honestly, it's just a detox protocol. A lot of people don't know how to, and of course the CBD enhances all of the effectiveness of those products. And we are bombarded with so much crap right now between like you said before, in the foods that we eat, right? In literally the liquids that we drink. People, if they only really knew what they were drinking, they would not be drinking. Seriously,
absolutely not. Yeah.
Like you said, diet soda is like the worst.
One of the worst.
And even worse than diet soda, the zero sodas.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about get your body as acidic as possible.
Right.
Not good. But it doesn't mean take it on the other side either and get alkaline. You have to be at a 7.
You have to find that balance. Yeah. You have to find that balance, right?
7.2, to 7.6, whatever it might be, right? So yeah, you have to have that balance. So, but you're putting so much acid into your body, and then when people think, oh, I've got reflux or acid reflux and heartburn and indigestion, they're like, oh, put some Tums on there, which is making you even more acid. Stop. I'm sorry. Making you more alkaline. I'm sorry. So
it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Like for me, when I was consuming cannabis, I had stopped taking all my ulcer medication because I got GERD. I got GERD. Yeah. I was always spitting up acid, and it sucked. Right? It sucks. You guys got GERD. I know 90% of you guys listening in have GERD. You've been diagnosed with GERD, right? And it's all that acid and everything, right? Yeah. I learned consuming cannabis actually calmed my stomach down, and the GERD was nowhere near as active as it was,
It's so actually the opposite of what they tell you. You actually need more acid, not less. You don't have enough stomach acids to, because of stress, stops those gastric juices. Yes. So that's why that helped you, because now you're taking cannabis. You're not as stressed. Your vagus nervous system is in a rest and digest state.
Absolutely.
Right? And now you can properly digest your food, and you're in parasympathetic, where your functions are back to, you're not being chased by a lion.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely. So with your business now, what is it? Tell the audience a little bit about your business, about what you're doing and how you got started in your business.
Yeah, well, I've always believed, as I said back then, we were smoking it in our basement while we were learning Ayurvedic medicine. I've always kind of felt like it was something that was helppful for me, although obviously we didn't have the research behind it. I think a lot of us intuitively knew that, and actually, cannabis comes was part of the anointing oil in the Bible.
Yes.
It was cannabosum, and they changed the name, of course, because they want to hide that shit from you. anything
No, what do you
that
mean?
works. Yeah.
What do you
Anything that
mean they
works,
want to hide
wanna
it?
hide that shit from you because they can't put a patent on it.
Right.
So like hyssop was oregano, so there's very powerful oils that really,
Mhm.
that really benefit the body and support the body. So I was always kind of into those things. And when I met my business partner and she, understood some of my physical issues, my best friend back in Virginia when I first when I got out of the military and we went to Texas, we just always wanted to be in wellness. And she had studied to be a doctor from a very small age. And when she got into it, she realized they wanted her to push farms. And she was like, nope, I'm not down with that. And so she got out of that and she was like, there's got to be better ways. And so we just kind of went on this journey of learning as much as we could, just educating ourselves. And so we've done that for 25 years and cannabis has always been in there, and we didn't really understand why until we understood why. you know
Right.
so and so so we didn't know how we were going to incorporate that into our business. I mean, we talked about going to freaking Uruguay because they were growing it there.
No, man, that'd have been a nice trip.
Yeah, but it's a little bit socialist there, so
Yeah.
so we're like, yeah, we don't know if we want to do that, but it's almost that way here too. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so we came across this manufacturer. We've been looking at different stuff and studying different products and what have you, and we just we felt like what we saw, kind of stuff we talked about, as far as the quality of the products, the manufacturers that were out there. We wanted something different in our product. And so when we came across this manufacturer that had a producer that had met with the Amish people that bred out the THC, completely bred it out.
That's crazy.
So it's right. So usually any CBD that we know of on the market, other than our product, has somewhere between 0.3 to 0.5.
Yeah.
And that's okay for a lot of people. They can handle that. But ours is 0.000. You can go through the labs. You'll never find it because it's not in the plant, but it's a full spectrum.
That is
so
crazy.
It's crazy. It's CBD rich.
Crazy. That is
right?
crazy. Yes. I mean, and that's what
is.
people need to understand, right? People need to that's what I tell people. I said, when you find a good CBD flower and a good THC flower and you blend them together, it's like it's your full spectrum. You are getting a perfect high. You're getting the perfect high, and to be able to grow a plant. And to be able to grow a plant that actually breeds out all the THC, that's freaking phenomenal. That's medicine.
Right.
That's medicine.
It is. And because THC covers certain things, specific things in the brain when it comes to like mobility. I've seen it do amazing things for people. But some people have where it will always make them paranoid. It will always make, it just does. And so they just can't handle it. And so this is the only product that I know, literally, it will never do that. And I've had many veterans tell me, they love it because, and
they're not high. They didn't get high, right? They didn't have a pain relief.
They didn't have a groggy head. They slept like a baby, and they take it during the day because you can take it throughout the day and you will feel, it will actually give you an up energy, like lift, because it's boosting your immune system. So you actually have more energy all day long. And then when you go to sleep at night, you're calm and you sleep the whole night through. You feel very rested and you wake up and you have energy.
Right.
And you start all over again.
That's it. Right. And that's the understanding. Right. And a lot of people, like I said, that sounds like an amazing CBD. It has no THC in it. For you guys that are listening on the show that can't consume THC.
Yes. And also, so, you talked about the process that Rafa 180 does as well. And and that's really, really important. And with this product, we only use the first cold pressing. So our product is 100% oil. There is no carrier oil in it whatsoever.
Oh, wow.
Right. So we sell 100% CBD oil, no THC, no carrier oils, no solvents, no nothing. And everything after that first cold pressing, we don't even use that. That's all garbage as
Oh,
far as we're
wow.
concerned. So we're talking like the purest shit you can get on the planet
That,
without any high.
wow. That's outstanding because you're providing medicine. It's a
Right.
medicine. This is what people got to
Right.
understand. This is medicine, guys. This is medicine that she's providing, that she's able to provide for you guys. And so this is one of the things, man. I'm bringing you quality people on the show that are doing quality products for us in the veteran community. And this is just,
Yep.
that's outstanding. Like I've never heard of anything like that, to where you can get a
Yeah.
plant and you can actually breed out the THC. Like I've never heard of that before. Right.
No, you won't. No one's ever heard of it. We've searched the world. We've searched the world and we don't know anybody that's making this product like we're making it. We have a number of different products, obviously, that we use out of it. Between helps your hair grow, like your beard,
wow.
you would love our beard oil is freaking phenomenal. Anybody that's like losing their hair, put it on top of your head. It will make your hair grow and it makes it beautiful. It makes your skin beautiful. It's we have the dog treats, we have the diaper rash, we have like I said, the CBD with the black seed. If you have like some serious, you want to do some detoxification. Detox is really where it's at. It's the key between CBD and detoxifying and getting the crap out of your body that you don't even know what's in there and what it's doing
Right.
to you. That's what you need to do. And there's only certain products that you can take, and you want to make sure that they're good quality products. So, things people take like bentonite clay. Okay, that's good, but it only takes out certain, within the intestines and, in the intestinal lining and the intestinal wall. But what gets into the brain? Like we talked about, the mercury's in the brain, the aluminum's in the brain.
Yeah.
What's taking those? Because a lot of things don't cross the blood-brain barrier, and those were some
Right.
of the challenges that we found. So you've got to have a particulate that's small enough, but also powerful enough in order to do that. So those are the things that we talk about. Viruses, getting attaching to those viruses, pulling them out of your cells so that you can be healthy and
Right. No,
not
absolutely.
let them lay dormant. Because also one of the other silent killers is frequencies. And we're walking through frequencies between, 2G, 4G. Get ready for 5G is going to
Right.
F some people up.
Right.
It's going to F some people up. So, because people don't know that there's and this is some crazy shit. I'm going to throw you off a little bit and I don't want to scare you, but you need to be aware that there's nanobots and shit in people's food. They don't know it. Okay, so
we're not talking conspiracy theory stuff. Shut up. No,
right.
we're not talking about that. We don't know what we're saying.
Right. That's not even conspiracy theory. Go look it up. There's nanobots in your food. And
no.
The thing with that, I say that because frequencies can affect how you act and how you react to things, and it controls you. So when you have, and they're also in vaccines. So I say that for that reason also, because you need to be aware that there's things that are directing how you feel about things and how you act about things. And it's in the air. So you need to know it's there, and you need to know how to get that shit out and how to deal with it.
Right.
Sorry,
no,
man.
You're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, guys. And this is one of the things I tell you guys about, man. We really don't know what we're ingesting, right? We like to eat. I love food. I'm a food fanatic. I'm a foodie. I love food,
Yeah, me too.
But a lot of things, guys, is like, what am I ingesting? What am I eating? What am I putting into my body? And like she said, look at it, dude. There's cameras, there's crap going inside of you, and you don't even know it. Like you're eating it, and you don't even know it, right? And this is one of the things that I tell you guys. We don't want to scare you. We're just telling you what we believe in and what we're seeing on our research that we're doing on a regular basis. And we're all doing research. All of us. If you guys haven't learned watching my show, all of the guys, all the people, all the wonderful family that I'm bringing on the show. We are doing research daily. We're doing research on everything from terpenes to cannabinoids to plant medicines to this, to that, right? We're not just coming at you and saying, oh, look at what, we're actually telling you, this is what I found out. This is what I'm seeing. This is what we're doing. And we go back and forth and we'll like, hey, did you see this that just came out? Like in Florida just started their first psilocybin dispensary. I was like, oh my gosh. Florida they're the first one in the country to establish a psilocybin dispensary. I was like, dang, dude. I said, I wonder what that's like right there,
Right.
but it's crazy to see these things, guys. And this is one of the things that we do in this community, in this cannabis plant-based community. This is what we do. We reach out to each other and say, hey, did you see this? What are your thoughts on this? I'm looking into this, and I think this may be able to help me with what I'm dealing with. What are your thoughts on it? Have you tried it? Have you not tried it? Have you seen it done before? And this is how we share our experiences with each other and help continue breaking that stigma and educating each other in regards to these things that we see that's going on in our country, And this is what I love, is being able to, you guys know my community. You guys know the amazing guests. Everybody I bring on my show, I stay in contact with. We stay in contact on a regular basis and say, hey, dude, how you doing? Look at this. Look what I got going on right now. This is what I got going on right now. What do you think? And I bring them back on the show, or we do something where we're expanding our community. We are breaking the stigma. We are helping each other learn from everything that we're doing, And so for you guys, this is amazing things that Shannon's bringing to you guys. She's having amazing things. And like I said, I'm going to have all her information in the description box down below. However you listen to the show, whether it's on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, Google, iHeartRadio, however you listen to this is going to be in the description box. Hopefully you're coming to my YouTube channel and you're subscribing, because everything, I'm going to have all her contact information in there. So you can go check out her store. You can message her on Facebook or however she wants to let you message her. So you can get in contact with her, say, hey, I got some questions about this. Can you come show me about this, And this is one of the things, we're supposed to be doing, is breaking that stigma. Educating our community to understand, hey, let's get you off those pharmaceuticals that you're taking, those antidepressants, those anti-anxieties, that PTS that you suffer from, that GERD. Let's get you off of these medications, blood pressure medication. I tell people, I said, blood pressure medication, I get you off blood pressure medication. Take you a good CBD, get you off that blood pressure medication. Hands down, dude. And so we're getting close to the end of the show, Shannon. How do you want to leave our audience? How do you want to leave our brothers and sisters that are listening into this week?
Well, I want them to, I really want them to understand, that kind of just like you said, you don't need those pharmaceuticals. I know you've probably been on them for a long time, potentially, or you're dealing with something for a long time and you're not seeing any other alternatives to what's going on, in your body, and you've had enough. And so, I understand that. I've been there. I understand that feeling. And, I'm walking proof. There's hundreds of thousands of people are walking proof that you can turn it around. You just, number one, have to want to,
Right.
That's number one. You have to want to. Number two, you have to get out of survival mode.
Right.
And so, and that's a really hard thing, believe it or not, for military and veterans to get out of survival mode, because that's what we were programmed to carry out, right? Whatever it takes, it's survival. And so there's no creativity in survival mode, and what does that mean? It's not just creativity, but it's also create, right? And so we create every day. You're creating either good cells in your body, you're creating your whole environment. And so that's an internal environment, that's an external environment. It's all encompassing, right? So it's the choices that you make and it all starts here. Right. Starts in your mind, and you have to decide. Your mind has to overpower your emotions. So you have to stop those emotions. Sometimes you might be angry about something. You don't even know why the hell you're angry. And later on, you're like, man, did I overreact about that or what?
All the time, all the time.
You know that as a Hispanic man, right?
Yes, all the time.
So your thinking is chemicals. Your hormones are the emotions. Okay, so but your mind is more powerful than that.
Right.
You have to know it. You have to know that the first part of war is knowing that you're in a war.
Yes.
Okay. And every day you're in a war with your own body, and you can either support yourself and your mental processes for that war, because it starts in your mind. You have to have a strong mind. If you don't have a strong mind, then you don't have a strong body. And then and that's your foundation. So start there, and you can change your mind every day, every moment. It's like when you start anything, when you quit smoking, when you start a diet, when you do anything, at any time, you make a decision. Am I going to do the right thing, or am I going to do the wrong thing? Am I going to support my health, or am I going to kill myself?
Right.
Right. So do you want to live, or do you want to die? And
Right.
that's it's really powerful. It was the way that I quit smoking. Honestly, I mean, yes, I detoxified that crap, 3,000 chemicals out of my body every day. But when it came down to the moment to moment, and I wanted to smoke a cigarette, this was also back then at, 28 years old. And I wanted to smoke a cigarette because that's what I did in the military. I did that since I was 14, 15 years old, whatever it was. But I'd look at it and I'd say, do I want to live, or do I want to die?
Right.
And I chose that I wanted to live. When I go to, be on a diet, do I want to live? Do I want to die? I know what sugar does. It turns off, signals in your brain and in your body, and DNA. It shuts off DNA, right? Yeah. So do I want to live, or do I want to die? I choose to live. And if I'm going to live, then I'm going to live, and I'm not going to just exist. Right. Because I want to feel good. I want to live my life. I want to go out. I want to spend time, with the children. I want to spend time with my partner. I want to go out and I want to have fun, and I want to have a life and not just have an existence, and do something for other people. And so that's what we do for our veterans. We want, we are veterans, and we care mostly about our community and our other veterans, and we want to lift them up. We don't want to see them suffering, and they don't have to suffer. They suffer for lack of knowledge.
Right.
There's no condemnation, and just turn around and move forward in the right, decision. And even if you fail, you get up, right? That's what we do in boot camp, right? If we fail, we just keep going forward, get back up, brush yourself off, and move on and do it right. Do it right the next time. Fail again, go around, do it right, and just keep going. So correct decisions, good choices, get the things that you need that support your body. Stop taking the stuff that's killing you. Because eventually that's where it's going. It's just taking, one day at a time. One day it's a slow death, but it's happening. It's destroying your liver. Mm-hmm. It's destroying your liver. It's destroying your mind. It's destroying your kidneys and every function in your body, your everything. And eventually it doesn't take, it's not overnight, right?
Right.
They don't do it overnight. It happens over time. So you just, you got to start changing those habits and those choices. So
no, absolutely. And I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, that's like you said, they're not killing you fast, right? And the government doesn't do anything fast. It's a slow, painful death. You know what I'm saying?
Slow process. Yes.
It's a slow process, but you're doing it right. And it's like you said, now you got the detox, you got the oil that helps detox, get that crap out of your system. Let's get it out of your system. Let's get you on a healthy lineage and help you live this good life that's here before you, right? Do we fuck up? Yeah, we mess up all the time. We mess up all the time. We make huge mistakes, but it is your time now to make that difference. Keeping that positive mindset, like you said, Siannon, having a positive mindset and saying, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do this today. And you
don't fail. No. There's no failure. It's you win or you learn.
Yep,
and
exactly.
You move forward.
and you move forward, right? You learn from your mistakes. If you mess up, you learn from it and you move forward and you keep going so you don't do it again. Now, don't do that again,
Now you know.
Right.
Exactly.
Absolutely, man. Shannon, I appreciate this wonderful opportunity, taking time out of your day to come hang out with me and help educate our community, right? Help educate them and allow them have a better understanding about plant-based medicine and how it's been helping you and why you believe in it, And because I think that's what's going to help our community, say, for veterans to be like, damn, they're like me. I did that. I know what they did. I did the same thing. I deal with that. I'm dealing with that now, to actually have an understanding and knowing, hey, this stuff works. It helps.
It does.
It's a life changer.
We're knocking on doors at the VA. That's a slow process too. But the more that we, they are, and some are more open than others. Obviously, it just depends on where you are. But eventually, they hear enough knocks and they get enough information. As a matter of fact, the Army buys from us in bulk. They don't buy they don't buy it under the name CBD because they can't. So we call it something else. So we have special forces in the Army that buy our product because they can. And they don't pop positive. They don't, it's like you said, they can't. It's literally impossible because it's just not there. So we have the police and the firemen that buy from us. And it's really it's an amazing product. Our best, it started with a salve actually from the owner's, manufacturer's father-in-law who had literally crippling neuropathy. And if you know people that have neuropathy, it's miserable. And so he was suicidal because he was a runner, and he was up in his age, like 60s. He couldn't run anymore. And literally was almost like bedridden. And he was like, well, there's no quality in my life anymore. I'm done. I don't want to be here. And if I can't, find anything, the doctors didn't have, any hope for him. So his daughter and his son-in-law went out, and they were the ones that had approached the Amish people and told them, what they were looking for. And the Amish said, this is what we have. This is what we use. You guys can manufacture it, grow it. And they started with the salve, which is 2.5 times more CBD than any other product on the market. Within a week, he was walking, small bits, and then within 2 weeks, he was walking longer, and within a month or so, he was able to, jog and garden, and now he's in his 70s, well into his 70s, and he's back, running races as he was before.
Wow. That's freaking outstanding. That's awesome. That's awesome. No, definitely. I'm gonna need all your contact information so all these people can go and check out your products and what you're doing and believe in it, right? I mean, you believe in it. You believe in it, right? I believe in the products as well. And I was like, the only way you're gonna know is if you try it. Honestly, that's the only way you're gonna know is if you try it and see how amazing these products work, right? A lot of people are like, a lot of people skeptic, right? Because there's so many brands out there, right? There's so many brands, like you said. Some of them only has 2% freaking CBD in it. You're like, it's all oil, it's carrier oil, it's not even CBD,
right? And they go, I've tried CBD, it didn't work for me.
It doesn't work, right? It doesn't work, right? And you're like, no, you didn't try the right CBD. You weren't you were not properly introduced into how it works and why they believe in it. You were just, here, give me your money, here's this, try this should work. If it don't work, come get something else. It's not about that. And when you find a community like us, we'll sit down with you, we'll tell you, this is what we recommend, this is how we recommend it, this is why we recommend this, and let's start here and see how your body takes it on, because your body's going to take it on different than somebody else. Right. Let's figure it out, man. Shannon, I appreciate you hanging out with me. I appreciate everything you guys are doing, man. You guys that are listening in, thank you for taking the opportunity to listen to the show. Like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, please hit that subscribe button. We got to get bigger, right? We got to grow this community. We got to get the word out to everybody to let them know, why are we doing what we're doing? You got a Marine Corps veteran fighting for cannabis, federal legalization of cannabis. He's bringing on amazing guests on a weekly basis that are in the same fight to help bring back medical freedom, right? Go check it out. I got Wednesday episodes and Friday episodes every week, 2 episodes a week right now, guys. And come check out my content. Let me know what you think. If you're listening to iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, wherever you're listening at, leave me a 5-star review so we can start circulating, guys. I've already made it on the New York podcast top episodes twice in 1 week. I had 2 episodes that hit high in the New York podcast. That's New York City, dude. New York City podcast hit 2 of my episodes for the most listener base in their community. We're doing it. We're making movements. We're making waves. And that's what we're supposed to be doing, is making waves as veterans to allow people to have an understanding about why we're doing what we're doing, man. Remember, guys, if you're going to consume cannabis, use it responsibly. If it gives you paranoia, find out what it was. What terpene was it? What kind of flower was it? What did it have in it? So you understand next time you go back. I don't want that one because I got paranoid as hell when I smoked it, right? Find out what you're smoking. It works. I'm telling you, this stuff works. You just have to understand which angle you want to come to it at, right? And when you can find a good CBD, I'm telling you right now, replenishing your endocannabinoid system, you're going to see a huge life-changing alteration in your own life when you give CBD a day, put it into your daily diet, adding it every day. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I appreciate it, Shannon, taking time out of your day, man. If you're gonna smoke a little bit extra for me. I got about 30 some odd days left till I can go back to consuming cannabis again, and I'm super excited. I'm just waiting my time, man. I love you guys. Thank you for all this. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for everything you guys are doing, man. I'll have a new episode coming out next week as well, man. Remember, guys, here at the Stone Vet, we got your 6. Awesome. I appreciate it.
I stay alert for my enemies trying to do me some harm. I fight for your freedom of speech and your right to bear arms. When I say I got your 6, that means I got your back. But what else would you expect?